Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Cool, thank you. We're just gonna give people some time to pop on. I would normally chat some more. Obviously, you can hear my voice is still not at 100, so I'm gonna try to preserve that while we give people just a couple more minutes to get on for the webinar. See. Hi, Holly, welcome.
Hi, I'm sorry about your voice.
We're gonna get through. It's gonna be great. Thank you all for being flexible. We are just troubleshooting and making sure everyone can get into the group. So thank you guys. Just give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get rolling. Apologies, everyone. All right. Hello, everyone. In the honor of everyone's time, we're going to get started. Thank you all for being here and being interested in Elevate Leadership Institute. I'm Bailey Sadowski. I am the program director here at Elevate Rapid City. I also have Holly Knox with us on today. She is a recent Eli alum, so we're happy to have her on board and help answer questions. Once again, thank you all for being flexible with me. As you can hear, my voice is still not 100%, so I'm going to try to keep coughing and the volume high and coughing at a low. But if you have any questions, please just put it in the chat. We will be doing Q&A via the Q&A toggle at the end. And so with that being said, I'm just going to kind of jump into it so we have enough time to get through all the content and such. So can you all see my first slide? Cool. Alrighty. So welcome. Elevate. Oh, okay, so Elevate Leadership Institute, that's why we're here. So I wanted to kind of go with you guys, go over the agenda for what we're going to get through for this session today. We're going to talk about the program and understanding what it is and who it's for. We're going to talk about the goals of the program for the people that are in the course, then also for Elevate Rapid City and why we do it. And then also the application process, because I know that is very uh, uh, can be kind of intimidating if you're not really sure exactly what it is. And so we're going to talk through that today. Okay, understanding the program. So, Elevate Leadership Institute was established in 2021, so we just graduated our fifth class. However, it evolved from Leadership Rapid City, which was established in 1980. And Leadership Rapid City was the original leadership program that over 1,000 community members have been in the honor of being in. It was responsible for launching big programs like Day of Excellence, Summer Nights. It was really about getting to know your community and traveling around. And while we think that is fantastic and great, we really saw a need shift. And so when COVID happened, we put a pause on Leadership Rapid City, regrouped, and launched Elevate Leadership Institute. And so now we focus a lot, about 60% of the time, on leadership and management training. And we still have that community component that we'll talk about here in a second, but it is now not necessarily the main focus, but still fuels a lot of what we do. Okay, so who is Eli for? That's a big question. Should I take Eli? Is it even for me? So it really is for people that are new to leadership. Maybe they've been in a leadership role for a year or two and they're trying to figure out how to really upscale and gain those skills in leadership and management, or they're trying to get into a management position. It's also for those early career, mid-career professionals that are once again trying to upscale or upskill their leadership skills. If you maybe you're a technical expert and you're like, I want to be a manager of a department, this is a good program for you. Aspiring entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs of small teams. It's a great program to get to know your community and also learn how to grow and work with people and build a team. So this is a good program for you, and as well as business community members, people that are doing things in the community, they're rallying people, they're building coalition, and trying to build that network. We have a lot of great skills for leadership and management that really applies to these group of people. I will say, well, these are the people that this is for. It does range a large variety of people. There isn't like a set human that we have in mind. It's really about what you guys convey in your interview and your applications, because we view this program not just as the individual people, but as a collective whole, and we'll talk about that more as well. Who is this not for? So it's really not for people that are here just for networking. You really have to show a dedication to wanting to self-improve and do self-management and leadership growth within yourself. So if you're just here to build a network, while that is a huge component of what this program does, that's not who we are looking for. Also, if you have quite a bit of management experience, maybe you're in the C-suite of a larger organization, you have a those people have a very large role in Elevate Leadership Institute. I don't know if it's as an attendee, but there is a way to help give to our class that way. But if you're at that level, this program probably isn't for you. And people that think that this program is just for dropping in and out, As I mentioned, it's really about the collective group and the conversations we have, and we build each program to build off of each other and have conversations. And so we really need our attendees to be dedicated to the program and commit to all of the courses that we have built. All right. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I get carried away and talk really fast. I'll just pause for a second as we move on to the next slide about content. Okay, so content. Like I had mentioned, this all builds on top of each other. So we really kick off Elevate Leadership Institute with a couple of different assessments, one on emotional intelligence in the workplace and also your personal strengths. And we use these as a foundation for all the rest of the curriculum throughout the 9-month course. This is the baseline of what we do. It does always evolve and change with each class because as we know in the business community, things are changing, needs are changing. And so these are kind of the basis. After our session where we dive into all those strengths and assessments, we do a session on the basics of management and how to lead through change. And this is a really great thing because you learn a lot of like useful nuance tips and maybe things you haven't thought of before when you're starting to manage people or take on more than one person that you're managing at a time. And then we all know things change. So how do you get through that? How do you lead a team through that? Our next session is actually one of our highest ranked that we do every year. It's called Servant Leadership and Making a Change in the Community. And this is where we really learn about boards, the different types of boards in the community, why you should be involved in boards and get engaged, and the skills that you learn from being in boards and managing. And so, even if maybe you don't think you're interested in being on a board or you're already on a board, there's a lot of useful tips that we go through during this that help show how you can build coalition and lead a team as well, because it is a similar uh, thought making process when you're building your management and leadership skills. Conflict resolution and psychological safety. This one, I'll talk about this later more, but this one is always very impactful. It's really about diving into communication, getting to know different types of people, how to recognize scenarios that you're in, and making good decisions for yourself and your team. And every year we have a couple surprises that come out of this. That's really heartwarming when I get into that story later. And then we have a session on the legislative process. We go to peer, we learn from our legislators, we sit in on session, and we get to talk to some of the people that are making things move for Rapid City and South Dakota in general. And then we have a new session in February called Management in Action. This one is still developing. This is where we're really going to dive into the stuff that we get feedback from our class every year on what they wanted more of. And so we're actually adding this session in, so it's still kind of TBD, but it's going to be a really impactful and add more punch to our management focus and leadership focus in this program. Then we have one on driving community change and coalition. So, really learning about the big things that are sticking on our community. Last year, we talked a lot about the TIF legislation that just went through. We talked about housing and how that impacts our employees and the space that we live in. We talked about policy and how that impacts us. And we do talk about a little bit of what it means about running for office and being a leader in that capacity. And so this is really timely on what's going on in the community. So this session changes every year. And then our last session, our second to last session, it's called Leading Authentically. It's kind of a culmination of everything that we've gone through in the past 8 months together. And we have really great intimate conversations with some outstanding leaders in the community. And it's one of our most highly ranked, where they talk about like their successes, their failures, and how they've evolved over time because it is, a process. And then community readiness. This is when we, excuse me, everyone. We typically go to Ellsworth Air Force Base and we do a tour there and understand the impact of the base on Rapid City and the region, and also how they lead and how we can learn more from military leadership as well and be better connected. And so it's a really collective program that builds on top of each other, and we try to pull everything back to threads that we've done in previous classes. And we don't sit still during these guys. We usually do about a half day, maybe a little bit more of like interviews or panels or presentations, and then we're usually on the go in the afternoon with a real life application of the topic that we're talking about. And so we don't sit still. We're always on the move, but it really adds together towards that experiential learning process. So some of the exclusive perks of the program, because that's always fun too. Uh, you get the special access to community and business leaders, like I talked about. We usually talk with the mayor and have conversations with him or her if that's the session that you're in. Like I said, the CEOs, those top leaders. We just talked to a colonel at the Air Force Base, and that was a very big program. He is currently the person that is in charge of the Air Force Base with everything that is going on. So lots of great access that way and hearing from them. We get exclusive tours of community institutes. Well, I can't guarantee these tours every year. Typically, we go to Pennington County Jail and see what's going on there, Ellsworth Air Force Base, and get to see a bomber and learn more about what's going on there. This year, we went to Cold Spray, which is super interesting, where they basically blast microparticles to fix a lot of their equipment to basically make it completely smooth and seamless again after wear. And we have other things too, other nonprofits that add to the curriculum of that day that we get exclusive tours to and that you normally don't have access. You also join a dedicated group of alumni. As you can see, Holly's here helping support. We had like many people this morning at Elevate at our morning networking mixer talking about Leadership Institute. We go and do a junior Eli program with eighth graders every year that you can volunteer. And so there's a great group of people that you get to join and be a part of and build those relationships and connections through this program. And plus, since this is a prestigious program about leadership, you can put on your resume, and that is always an added bonus. Okay, so program goals. So these are the goals for you guys. Our goal is to be the best leadership program in the country. And through our testimonials and the feedback we get from the community, we think we are well on our way to building a solid program and continuing to expand and grow on that. And the reason why we believe this is that we're driven by engagement. We're here to develop forward-thinking leaders who can lead effectively at home and in the workplace throughout the community. It's important to be engaged in multiple facets to be a wholesome leader, and that's what this program helps build. We also find, oh, I did not spell that correctly, everyone. Thank you. We help you find an understanding of the regional systems in the community and how everything works together with local, state, and how it betters the Black Hills in general. And we build a quality of life together through the business community for everyone that lives here. And that's obviously a main goal of Elevate Rapid City as the Chamber and Economic Development Agency. Also, building confidence and leadership and management skills in you all. That's a big component to just help you upskill and continue to lead these outstanding organizations. And then also affect the change for the future of Black Hills. Oh my gosh, guys, I really did not proofread this slide. I apologize. But you guys are the ones that are leading us into the future and what we want to make the decisions for Rapid City and the community. And this shows you how you as a person and your businesses can do that. So our goals is elevate, once again, to be the best leadership program in the country. We're here to help you guys advance careers, be advocates for the business community, for the Rapid City region, for yourselves, for your employees, and ultimately believe when we do that, we advance the community, continue to grow and build that quality of life. We want to get you involved in board and service involvement and be a part of those decision-making things and personally just see you transform. I'll tell you a little story. This year we had one of our attendees come up to me. It was probably the second to last program of the year, and he looked a little nervous and he asked if he could talk to me. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. What's up? And he said, I have decided to leave my job. It just isn't working out for me. I've, identified some things with the program that isn't serving me, and I decided to start and launch my own business. And I feel empowered to do that, and I never would have been able to without going through this program. And so that's what we're here for. Those are the stories that this program is built for, is we want to give you the tools to feel empowered and make healthy decisions for you and build that network. And one of the things I think he was nervous about as well is that this program follows a company. It doesn't, it follows the person. So once you're signed in, we're invested in you. We're invested in you and your growth and your process. And so this program will follow you throughout that. Okay. Application process. So applications are currently open now through June 16th. We have free applications now through the 31st, and then afterwards it'll be $25 until the end of June. If you apply this year and you don't get an interview, the application fee will carry on to next year for you to reapply, so you won't have to pay again. Once those applications are in, we have a group of Eli alumni who review the applications and score you based on a ranking score that we developed a few years ago to see who moves on to in-person interviews. In-person interviews are really important. As I mentioned before, we're not just choosing you as a person, we're choosing a collective group that can really expand on each other and drive those hard conversations home and put in the work. And so we're looking for a wide range of people. And so that's why those in-person interviews are so important. And those will happen in mid-July. You'll be contacted for those, and those in-person interviews will be that week of July 21st through 28th. Once those are completed, that next week you'll be notified if you have been selected for Elevate Leadership Institute. We only take 24 participants and one per business or organization. So if you have multiple of you applying from an organization and you are both great candidates and could technically get into the course, we will only select one. And we've just learned that it helps have those hot conversations in the room where you can be really open and vulnerable. And sometimes that's hard to do if it's with someone that you work with. And then, so once going back to the timeline, once those offers are out, you guys will sign paperwork committing to the program saying, yes, I can attend the events. These are the dates. This is the commitment. And then we get started on August 27th. So it's a pretty fast timeline throughout the summer. And so just stay really diligent on that and make sure you have those marked down. The interviews, apologize, the interviews are also done by Eli alum as well. So they're the ones in the room asking the questions, and they've been through it. So they have some insights that they like to offer along the way. The commitment, so only one absence is allowed on non-mandatory dates. And we do that because, as I have mentioned a couple of times, this program builds on top of each other. It is built on the network of people that are in it. And when you are in and out or not hitting on those topics that are really important for us to build upon it, it just doesn't make for a great thing. And the commitment shows commitment to everyone in the group. And so that's kind of why we have that. Policy in place. So typically, Eli is every second Thursday of the month from 8:30 to 4:30. And the two exceptions are these two dates that are outlined. So orientation is a 3-hour session on August 27th in the afternoon. And then February 11th is the day that we go to peer. If you cannot be away from home for a full day, that's 3.5 hours away, we do have special exceptions for that program for that absence policy. But that's a conversation you would have with me if you were accepted into the program. And these are all on our website, and we'll talk more about those here in a bit. Also, a special note too, on May 13th is our graduation, so we do have a time commitment on that evening as well, to celebrate with you and your family. Obviously, the dates with the little stars are the mandatory dates. So time commitment, I kind of went over that. Orientation, the special session in February are separate from the second Thursday. So we technically have 12 scheduled times that we get together. We have service projects. They're typically built into the program. So we do that during class time. There has been a few instances where we say, hey, can you show up for this? And we try to be flexible with you, but the commitment to know that might happen is also there. I don't want that to scare you guys. We will work with you. Also, out of class, we typically have you guys meet with your mentors once a month that you will select through the beginning of this process. We have surveys that we ask you to complete at the end of each session. Excuse me. One of the things that we do is you get paired with several of your classmates and are given one of the sessions, and you're the management team. And you do a book presentation because we read a book together as a group, and then you kind of help lead the day. You're given some great instructions, but typically you will have to put a little bit of extra hours in that month to help prep that day with your cohort. We have a couple special projects that we do. That's kind of that service thing that we talked about, and that will become more clear when we're in the class. And then we do also have you write two reflection papers throughout the course, one after your management team hosts, and then at the end of the session. So that being said, I typically say your commitment is 10 to 12 hours per month, and that includes that, 9 hours that we're in class that Thursday. Obviously, the exception is February. Your time commitment's going to be closer to that 24-hour, 20-hour period. Excuse me. Okay, so application, we have three different sections. We have personal information, so really just like the baseline of your experience and your basic information. We have our leadership experience, so what have you done historically? And don't be afraid if you don't have anything. That's part of this program is, building that leadership experience. And so some people will have some leadership experience already and some won't. The big thing is about being open and really showcasing your openness to learn and maybe some of those soft skills that do lead towards good leaders and managers. And so this is the section to kind of talk about what you've done and where you're going. You will also have a professional reference that you'll need to have write you a letter. And what we're looking for in this is really talking about your character, your leadership potential, and commitment to the community. I will say so I've actually taken Eli as well as a like attendee before I took this job at Elevate. I did not have any like in-office management or leadership experience. I've never was formally asked to supervise someone. And so I was open about that. I talked about, working on different committees and maybe like managing a little bit from below, but I was open with that. And that's one of the things we're looking for. Um, One of the things I was struggling with and why I wanted to take this class was I kept applying for jobs for management positions because that's kind of the stage I was at in my career and I wasn't getting it because I didn't have any management experience. So, like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And then after getting into this program, I was able to showcase that I had this, and it opened up a lot of great opportunities to get me my first management role. And so we're looking for all types of people. Here's one of the examples in your professional reference section of someone that one of the things they wrote. I just wanted to show this because they really showcase their personal commitment to growing themselves and what they wanted to do for themselves and grow as a person versus, I want to learn more about the community or I want to do this. And while those things are great, we're here for people that are dedicated to grow themselves and their businesses and really be connected to the Rapid City community. Okay. One more tips. I think these are pretty self-explanatory, but like be thorough. You don't have to be overly detailed, but make sure you cover a lot of basics. Proofread and edit. Like I obviously didn't do this presentation. I apologize for not getting to that, guys. And then being authentic. We are, like I said, looking at you as a person and how you're going to connectively fit within a group. I talked to the previous director of this program that I got to take over from, and we talked a lot of candidly about how, we pick people that maybe are softer spoken or more introspective, and the people are a little bit more loud and opinionated. And they had specifically chosen me because I was a little bit louder and would voice my opinions. And one of my own personal insecurities, and one of the reasons why I thought I might not have been being so successful in getting management jobs, is because I talk too much and I don't listen and I'm not an open listener because I feel like that's stressed a lot. And while that is important, um, you need people to drive conversation. And so my personal goal going into this program when I got accepted was to just shut up and listen. And that's not what they needed. And so she kind of pulled me aside and was like, hey, like, what's going on? Why aren't you being more vocal? And I expressed to her, like, that's, was one of my personal goals going into this to be more intentional and listen. And she's like, no, that's why we asked you to be here. So this is why you need to be authentic in your interviews and carry that into your process while you're in the class. And we're here to challenge you as well. I'm going to be there with you the whole process and help mentor and lead. And I hope we form a really great relationship where we can have open and honest conversations like that as well throughout the program. Okay, so tuition, I know I'm getting long-winded. We're almost done. It is $2,000. So if your business that you're with is an investor, that is the cost if you're accepted into the program. Non-investors, it's 2,500. If you get accepted into the program and your organization wants to become an investor, we can get you in, so get you locked in at the investor rate. So what do you get through the program? You get those 10 sessions of leadership experiences. You get those two detailed assessments and a debrief with the organization we actually use that are specialists in those assessments. You get a leadership book. We cover lunch and snacks throughout the day, those exclusive tours, specialized speakers and trainers, transportation to peer on the bus. You get discounts to Elevate events while you're in the program. We have a great venue that you get to spend time in and be dedicated to. And then obviously we have a great graduation and get you a plaque and a celebration. And then you get locked into the alumni benefits as well. One of the big things that we don't cover is just like if we go on a tour, you're kind of responsible for getting yourself to that tour. I think the group in general does a really great job of carpooling and stuff. So if that ever becomes an issue, I would hope you come and like talk it to me or be able to connect with someone in the group, but we typically don't go too far. There also is the Linda Raby Scholarship available. It is for people that identify as female in the Rapid City area that really show a commitment to the community and wanting to invest in the community and lead in the community and in their workplace. So that's one full free ride scholarship. You apply for this at the same time that you submit your application for Elevate Leadership Institute. You don't know if you get it though until you're accepted into the program. So you have to go through the interview process. And when we say, hey, congratulations, we'd like to welcome you into this course, and then we let you know if you have won the scholarship. If you are at all concerned about being able to afford this program, please talk to me. We do have some other financial assistance available and resources to kind of pitch to your organization, and some other funds that we can help you with. So if it's even partially a concern, please contact me because we don't want cost to be a deterrent from you from even applying and going through the process. Okay, that's a lot of my scraggly voice, guys. Thank you for staying tuned. Here's a testimonial from one of our latest Eli alum. I'll let you talk to that, and then we'll open up for questions. All right. Any questions from the group, you can enter them in the Q&A. Also, we have Tessa Robinson here. She is one of our current Eli alums too. So her and Holly will be helping me with questions. So if you want to ask someone that is a recent alum or someone that's been in the program besides me, because obviously I'm biased because I run it now, those two are some great people to direct questions to as well.
Yeah, we have a question.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, this is Tom Cadis. I'm with the Rural Ethnic Institute. We're 50 years old, but we're all volunteer and we're all grant dependent. We'd like to nominate Samuel, who is a great young man at Oglala Lakota College. He runs their ABLE, their business unit, student unit there. And he's also a candidate for South Dakota House of Representatives. But we would have to go to a funding source to secure support for him, which we're willing to do. But sometimes they're very delayed. If we get to end of August and we don't have the $2,000, is there any opportunity for him to receive some sort of additional support?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a conversation I'd be more than happy to take offline with you guys at some point and have a different conversation because I know we have policy that's specific to each person. And so there is some funding and financial assistance, but there's kind of a breakdown in how we give that out. So I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys offline about that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. While we're waiting for questions, Holly and Tessa, do you want to give your own live testimonial about your experience with the program, or maybe offer a piece of wisdom of something that you weren't sure about when you went in and got clarity on that would have been helpful?
Sure. Hi, Tessa. Missed you guys already. Yeah, thanks for joining today, team. According to one of Bailey's first slides, I think I fall into that probably mid-career professional type. I'm probably older than most of, I don't know, the class that was, but found myself just there, kind of mid-career, in a formal leadership role really for the first time. I've overseen students and programs and processes and things like that before, but hadn't really been anybody's boss before, actually September starting in this program. So that's kind of where I fell. I've been a nurse 20 years, and so some of the professional growth had happened through other programs, different leadership stuff, community things, different boards and all that. And still, I found great value in the program because a couple things. I think it's Rapid City specific, right? And so you can know people or have risen through the ranks maybe in your own industry, or know your high school friends that are doing great things around the state or whatever it is. But one of my takeaways was really meeting and learning more about what makes Rapid City run. And as a citizen, as a person who lives here, raised my kids here, works here, helps to take care of the community here, I was interested in learning more about who and how this place runs. And I think in doing so, meeting people at the jail, meeting people at City Hall, meeting folks at Love Inc. and Feeding South Dakota and the base and all over, and having those as connections now, I think that was one of the big takeaways, is that there are good people here doing good things to make this a better place to live for all of us. And admittedly, as a skeptic about some of that in the past, one of my takeaways was that it is a great place to live. And I don't say that like cliche, but I mean, there are good people working hard to make it better. And we have a voice in that. There are avenues to, whether it's an Elevate mixer or it's reaching out to your legislators or running for office yourself or whatever it is, we play a part in that. So instead of kind of being a bystander to this place we live, it's motivating, kind of activating. So, and I love my class too. So go ahead, Tessa.
Well, I kind of fall where Holly did, especially I'm mid-career. I have led other individuals, but I have been in HR, and so I've led individuals and taught leadership to the managers that I had before in a past role, as well as where I am now. And so going through the class was really kind of a great refresher, and brought some really great new ideas by being in the group and talking to other leaders within Rapid City and learning about the community service that we could provide and be a part of. There was so much that I didn't know that was even available in Rapid that I thought provided a great springboard to be able to get into community service and to provide some of those services throughout our area. And so I really did appreciate that and got a lot of value from that.
Thank you
Bailey, do
both.
you see that question?
Yes. Yep. I was just getting ready to address it. And one of the things I didn't address during the presentation is Elevate Leadership Institute is its own program that is a component of Elevate Rapid City. It is not actually Elevate Rapid City. And I like to clarify that because I know we've talked a lot about like the economy and the business community. And while obviously Elevate Rapid City has our, goals as an organization, it doesn't mean that we project that onto you guys. We want to have those open conversations about you in whatever capacity your viewpoint is. And so I don't want you to think that we're going to be here to like force our opinions on you. That's not what this program is about. And hopefully Holly and Tessa feel the same way. So I just wanted to clarify that with people. So how many applications do we typically see and how many make it to the interview phase? Great question. We've seen upward of 60 applications in the past per year, so it is a pretty competitive field. How many people we take to the interview phase, that really depends on the quality of candidates and if you kind of pass our rubric and matrix into question. So we'll take, up to 40 people if we have to, if they're candidates for the program, based off of the first round of reviews. So I don't have a solid answer for that second part of the question, but kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking for. Any other questions? Cool. Um, we have our alumni also posted online. We promote the class at the beginning of it. One of the things we'll do this year is if you get accepted in orientation, we'll actually take a professional headshot for you that you can use, and we'll use to promote you in the class. And with that being said, we're here to support you, whether you get in this year or not. We're happy to work with you and reapplying and connecting to other people in the community you may need resources for. So once again, those alumni are listed online. So if you know anyone and want to have a conversation, please do so. Also, when you do apply for the program, if you choose to do so, we do have a referral process. So if there is an alumni that referred you, we'd love for you to give them some credit and sending you our way.
Hey, can I give another plug for something, Bailey? Because I only started doing this in the last couple months, maybe starting with Children's Home Society. But if you don't already follow Elevate on the socials and online and whatever, I suggest you doing that. There are ways to meet these folks and get to know more about Elevate anytime outside of Eli, but mixers and coffees and all sorts of things. So even as a professional or a citizen or whatever, like I would encourage you to take advantage of those events. It's been fun. Like I said, I just started going to them really in the last couple months. One, because we had to, but then I think, oh, this is something I should have started doing sooner. So good for networking and super low, I don't know, low pressure maybe.
Yeah, it also gives you the opportunity to understand and learn more about Rapid City and what's going on that you might not know about within just being in your organization. So I think that helps and is a great plug, Holly. We got to learn and meet a lot of different individuals, not just in our Elevate group, by going through that those meetings that they have.
You're muted, dear.
Thank you. I was going to say, we have time for one more question if anyone has another burning one. If not, you can always reach out to me at leadership@elevaterapidcity.com. Once again, our alumni are listed online, so if you know any of them, feel free to ask them questions. But I'm here to have an open and honest conversation. If you have more specific questions that you want to ask offline, I'm here as your resource and partner to just help you excel in whatever way you need to.
Apply, you won't regret it.
Thanks, Tessa.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for bearing with my current condition, and I hope you all have a great day, and I see your names come across my desk in the application process.
Thank you guys so much for hosting. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.